Have you ever wanted to be on an episode of the Pressurecast? Well, now it's easier than ever. With the brand new Pressure Line, you can leave a voice or text message to be heard on air. How do you feel about the current state of video games? Who's winning the console war? What games are you excited for? Whatever is on your mind, we want to hear it. Call or text 954-94-PRESS. That's 954-947-7377. Or you can email us pressurecast@gmail.com or tweet at us at Pressure News. Remember to write a review, rate, and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. Tell your friends and spread the word. The Pressurecast wants to hear from you. This week on the Pressurecast, Zelda goes live action, Sony Online Entertainment develops for the Xbox One, and the OBox comes to Europe. Plus, impressions of Criminal Girls Only, Epithion, SpongeBob Hero Pants, Battlefield Hardline, the new 3DS, and the Talos Principle. Everything happening in the world of video games is here, now, on the Pressurecast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 64th episode of the Pressurecast, the weekly video game news podcast that posts every single Monday on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and VideoGamesAreDumb.com. Thanks so much for joining us today. We got one hell of a show for you. Of course, I am Colin Tanner, one half of your Pressure Pals, and we are joined today by a brand new guest, Brandon. I'll tell you when it's over, Taylor.
Hello, happy to be here.
I just made up that nickname, so if that works.
I'm totally fine with it.
Okay, so tell me when it's over, okay?
I will.
Brandon, people don't know who you are. You primarily play on PC games. I just disregard everything about you as a person and immediately start talking about video games because that's what the show is. But you played video games your whole life, pretty much.
Yeah, from, I don't know, I think I was 5 when I got a original Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
So that's when it all started.
When the downfall started early for you. Great. Awesome. Very excited to have you on the show. You're primarily a PC gamer today, as well as a Wii U gamer, which is a really interesting perspective that I thought was somewhat of a rarity, but Steve Cuff is the exact same way. And I'm starting to meet more and more people that just have a Wii U and a PC. What the dealio? Why?
Well, I mean, I had an Xbox 360 and a PS3.
How many Xbox 360s did you have?
2. I've only ever gone through 2.
My God, you want to go buy some lottery tickets afterwards? Like, Jesus.
Well, I got in a little bit late. Same with the PS3. I bought them both when the price dropped, and so I had both of those. I had PS2 and Xbox, everything before that.
Right.
But then when we got to this new generation, it was like, you know what? I already bought a gaming PC. I don't really feel like any of the exclusives are worth the amount of money I'm going to drop in for the consoles.
No.
Except for Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers.
I love Mario Kart.
So, I figured, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and buy these games on Steam for a quarter of the price I would have to pay for a physical copy for the console. And I did that, and I now have way too many Steam games and no Xbox One or PS4.
Well, that's actually what we're going to get into right now, because let's talk about the games of the week. That was an echo effect right there. I played so many games, and I think you played like one game, and I feel bad about that because then I'm just going to be like rambling a bunch, but there are a lot of games that I just don't have much to say about. But I wanted to start off with, I think, the biggest beta of 2015 outside of Halo, and that is Battlefield Hardline. Now, they already had a beta last summer. I want to say it was right after E3. Because they had at E3 all those people that were on top of a building, I want to say, and they were broadcasting, being like, these people on top of a skyscraper are playing Battlefield Hardline. It's like, what? Why did you spend all this money?
Because EA.
Good answer. But so Battlefield Hardline, it's basically cops and robbers, but it's not like the heist. It's more like just Battlefield. There's just a particular goal that one team is attempting to accomplish, and the other team is trying to thwart. And that's basically it. And in the case of Battlefield Hardline, it is heist mode, where the criminals are going into a bank, and you play as the cops, and you have to stop them, or you play as the criminals, and you have to get the loot. From there's also classic conquest mode, which is, you have to control various points on a large map until the other team's tickets dwindle down. They still got the ticket system, which I don't think I've ever understood. Here's the coolest mode, though. They have this mode called Hotwire, which I never heard about, all right? So you know how, like, in most games you have to control a particular point?
Mm-hmm.
You have to do that again, except now the control points are cars. You have to steal cars and drive really fast. You have to at least be going a certain mile per hour to actually, like, own that particular checkpoint. And the cars can be shot and explode, or they can murder the driver and steal the car. So imagine... just like almost like Grand Theft Auto, where like it's all about tracking down that person that has that car and destroying them. And the way that teamwork works out in this match type is just so fucking cool. I can't get enough of it. Like, this is the coolest part of the game. Like, one of my favorite moments was I tried to steal this car, and some guy, he got into it before me, so I'm shooting at him, and he drives right through like this giant wall of flames, right? And then this giant semi comes out of the other side of the flames and just knocks his ass back, and his car just explodes because apparently one of the guys threw a grenade through his window. And it was like, wow, man. Fuck. It's so good. There's only 2 different stages. One is called like the Dust Bowl, and one of them is essentially a city. The city one's really fun because there's lots of like bridges and stuff, and there's lots of buildings, so you can't just snipe everywhere. Whereas on Dust Bowl, you can just kind of snipe everybody. It's not as much fun, but I don't know. I'm really liking it. You can upgrade your weapons. You get different weapons for the cops than you do for the criminals. Like, the criminals have a better shotgun than the cops. It's really good. I'm really blown away. But, glitches and all that kind of stuff.
So is the city level the same city level, excuse me, from the first beta?
I think so.
Okay, where it has the tower that kind of topples over halfway through, and you're like,
Why
what
does it
the
do that?
fuck just happened?
Why do they have that in there? At Battlefield 4, it was all about the building falling down. Now they're like, let's scale that back, guys. Like, oh, look at this crane fell over. You guys still stealing money from that bank? What is that? So you played the beta? Did you play the beta?
I played the first beta. I did not play the newest one yet. I intend to. I just haven't had much time to recently.
Well, I played this on the PlayStation 4, I should say. I didn't
Okay.
play it on the PC yet. But when you played the first one, was it just like heist?
Yeah, it was just the heist mode, and
Yeah.
it was the one map, and it was okay.
I heard really mixed things.
I mean, there were a lot of glitches, which I don't really let color my opinion of a game during a beta because it's a beta. So there should be glitches.
Oh,
Otherwise,
sure.
it would be a finished game, and then what are you doing instead of making money on it?
Right.
But, I mean, it just felt kind of like Battlefield with new levels.
Yeah.
So I was still in the same endless repeating cycle of, oh my God, how can I be so bad at this?
Yeah.
And then just getting angry and rage quitting and going to play a different game.
You know what? That's really true. That's one of the problems I had, was that I was getting killed all the time. But then I went under options and I went under game. I scrolled all the way to the bottom, and there was something like called like network adaptability. And it was like on or auto. And I was like, what is that? Like, I have pretty good internet. Like, I have like 60 down, something around there. So it's good internet, right?
Yeah.
So I just turned the fucking thing off, and suddenly I don't have any problems anymore. And I think all the people that are playing online that are really good at the game probably knew that was already in the game because it's been in Battlefield 4, so they just turned it off too. So if you're playing this on the beta, turn off network adaptability or whatever it is. It's under game, scroll to the bottom, turn it off, because I was having serious points where I was shooting someone in the neck with a shotgun point blank and they were not dying. And I got it on video. Like, it wasn't nuts. I rewatched it. I'm like, how did that happen? So if you turn that off, which I think most people are, you'll have a really fun time. Don't play Heist. Don't play Conquest. Play Hotwire. Hotwire is fun. Everyone's in cars together shooting out of windows. That's fun. Like saying, oh, I got this control point. Oh, someone threw a grenade in the room and now they got the control point. That's boring. I want control points that explode. Anyway. The next few games I don't have much to say about, but why don't we switch over to you, Brendan? Because you played the Talos. Isn't that what you get at a Greek restaurant, like on the side? It's salad.
I think that's tzatziki.
Or tabbouleh?
Yeah, I played the Talos Principle.
I know nothing about this game.
Okay, so shortest description I can come up with without spoiling anything.
It's
you
good.
You play as an android
Okay.
going through a series of what I didn't finish the game.
Okay.
I didn't have enough time, but I got pretty far in. Basically, you're in a simulation of all these different eras of humanity. So you start out in like the Roman Empire.
Oh, wow.
The second area is Egypt. That's as far as I got. But I think there's 4 different areas.
So you're jumping from historical points, so the environments change pretty greatly?
They do, but it's basically it. I can't describe it without saying it's like Portal because it is just basically a puzzle game where you have to use different things in the environment to try and solve the puzzles while avoiding robots that are trying to kill you but aren't actually very effective at it.
Is it like 3D or 2D?
It's 3D.
Okay.
It's a 3D first-person perspective.
Oh, I thought it was like a 2D. See, I told you I don't know anything about this game. Jesus.
No, it's 3D from a first-person perspective, but on you can actually use the keyboard to make it into third-person, but that makes it more difficult, so I didn't really do
Has
that much.
Ever worked out? If there's a game in first person, just play it in first person.
Yeah.
You know, like what Elder Scrolls. So people play in third person, like because they want to see their armor. No,
I usually do that when I first get the armor. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, I almost died. I need to go back into first person.
or try and jump up a hill when you're in third person. It just looks weird.
Yeah. Well, I use that in Fallout to try and get up parts of the levels that I'm not supposed to get up.
Fallout, it works better. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's ranged weapons.
Yeah. So in Talos Principle, there are these puzzles, and you have to get these little, it's like a little machine on a stand, and you use it to either disable the robots or disable force fields that are in your way.
Okay.
And then later there are lasers, and you have to use these ones with crystals to redirect the lasers so that you can open doors.
So it's like
I'm not
like
doing a very good job of describing
I'm
this.
following. You got like a Rune Goldberg device you're
Yes.
basically creating
Yeah.
to unlock a door.
Yeah. And then once you get to the end, you get a little puzzle piece. And then you go to the next puzzle and you get another piece. And then once you get enough pieces, you can fill in this puzzle to open up the door to the next area.
Is it challenging, would you say? Like
It's challenging-ish. I think I might not be far enough into it.
Right.
But I mean, it's definitely not Portal levels of, oh my God, I've been on this for an hour. How have I not figured this out yet?
I'll tell you, like Portal 2, I thought was like a total breeze. I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm not being like that. What happened was I played that Quantum Conundrum game and beat it before I played Portal 2. And I'll say Quantum Conundrum is like 50 times more difficult than Portal 2. So by the time I got to Portal 2, it's like, oh, thank God, I just have to use this gun. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I've played a lot of Quantum Conundrum, and it is kind of that same style as Quantum Conundrum and Portal 2. And
whereas this, you're kind of just you're messing with the environment. You're messing with the actual like items in the environment. Like you don't have like a special gun or like a special whip. I don't
no,
know.
you don't have anything.
Okay.
No, you just have these little. It's either I can't remember what they're called, but they're on little stands, and you have to pick them up, and then you set them up in certain configurations to get through the level. And
Okay.
there's this whole overarching story that there's this disembodied voice that talks to you randomly after certain levels, and basically it's supposed to be God, but then there's a computer system that you interact with, and the computer system is saying like, no, he's not God, he's just kind of an asshole, and he just talks about random things. Are you a person? And you're like, am I a person?
Indie title, you say.
So yeah. So I mean, you have to do all these things, and there's these philosophical questions of what makes a person, and
Yeah.
whether the fact that you're a sentient android makes you a person, or if you're not a person because you're not flesh and blood. It is a really cool story. Way too complicated for me to describe with how far I am into it. But
It sounds
I'd
like it has
say-
a lot of atmosphere. Like if you don't have the correct mood, you can't really display the story, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally called a game called the Talos Principle. It's pretty obvious they've got a direction they want to go, and that everything has been tailored to give you that thought process.
Yeah,
you know?
and they describe, I think it's in like the first or second level, they describe that the Talos Principle is based on this Greek mythological feature that was this eagle called Talos, and it had blood running through its veins, but it was a statue. So was it actually alive, or was it a statue?
Oh man,
This is a really dumbed down version of that because
Right.
it was like 4 a.m. when I got to that part.
I feel like
but-
I'm reading the liner notes like a Mars Volta record. Like,
Yes.
holy crap!
Yeah, but it is a great game, and I think it's, I want to say 30, but it might be 40 on Steam. I can't remember.
Well, it's an
So,
independent developer. Support them.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. I haven't heard if that's going to be coming to consoles or not, or I don't believe it has.
I have not. It's made by the same people that made all the Serious Sam games, Crow Team. So if you don't pirate it,
Right.
because if you pirate it, when you go into the elevator to try to get to the next level,
Right.
the next level never loads.
I love that.
You just sit in the elevator forever.
And I'm sure their message boards were flooded with, your game's broken.
Yeah.
And then we're like, guys.
Yeah.
So was that published by Devolver, maybe?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe so.
Because they publish all their games.
Yeah.
I love Devolver.
Devolver doesn't make bad games.
They
I mean, now that I've said that, they
Yeah.
will. But I mean, every Devolver title that I own is fantastic.
I'll say this much. They have made games that are not good, but they've never made a game that is boring. And I'll take something that's not boring over something that's good any day of the week. You know what I mean?
I mean, Shadow Warrior is never going to win Game of the Year, but it is a fun game to
that game
play.
is really fun.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. And
It is.
The controls are weird.
Yeah.
But I love it.
But it's entertaining because there's some weird stuff in there.
You were talking about Greek stuff, so maybe I should switch over to Apithion, which is like this 2D game. It's part of like PlayStation Plus February. It's also on Steam right now. It's essentially a 2D Metroidvania that takes place in Greek times.
Okay.
Yeah, see, there you go. That's a segue. And it's almost like just two colors, basically. You've got the black, which basically makes it look identical to like the wall scribblings that you saw back in like, ancient Greek times, and then like some sort of color that's like a specific hue that slightly becomes brighter and darker. So it's very moody. It's just basically black objects and color in the background, which is really striking and beautiful. Like you actually feel like you are playing like a cartoon if it was made in the Greek times, with their understanding of what 2D art was at that time. And that looks really cool. Couldn't really tell you what the story is. It's like everything's going bad. Now you're up where the heavens are. And if you've ever played like a Metroid game or like a Castlevania, the later ones, it's basically like that, but it has more arrows. It actually says where to go, which is really unusual for that type of game, where it's like, go kill this wolf, go over here and talk to this guy, go get this weapon. So it's kind of like a weird hybrid of like modern game design mixed with like Metroidvania. And the controls are kind of weird because you should get it on PC, I think. I don't think it's right for the PlayStation 4 because it's one of those games where even though it's 2D, and it's basically a side scroller, kind of, sort of, you have to use the right analog stick to move where the sword is or your weapon is, and then right trigger to like attack. So if someone's attacking you from above, you take the right analog stick and you put it up, but it's not very smooth. And I could totally see how like having a mouse, like with just two clicks, like two buttons and a scroll wheel to like swap out your items and just moving that in any direction, kind of like Hotline Miami, in a way, would just make it a lot easier. I didn't play a whole lot of it, but it seems really cool and it's free on PlayStation Plus. But
can't argue with free.
Yeah, it's okay. Yakuza 4 is also available on PlayStation Plus, so everybody go download that on your PlayStation 3. That's a really good game. That's a really good game. But I also played another game called Criminal Girls Only, or Criminal Girls Invite Only. Well, I screwed it up on the title then. But Criminal Girls Invite Only. Oh my!
You sound excited, Colin.
I
Let's hear
don't-
more about this game.
You know what? A lot of JRPG fans, they get very mad at me whenever I do first hours on JRPGs because right away they say you don't understand it, you don't appreciate it. They basically are insinuating that like I'm against, like I'm a nationalist of some sort, and I just reject all other forms of entertainment that come from different countries. But no, I like anime, not all of it, but some of it, and I love Japanese games. I don't think anyone that plays video games today doesn't love Japanese games. Like, come on, we grew up on that, Mega Man, Super Mario Brothers. What else came from America? Duke Nukem. No, I'm kidding. So Criminal Girls Only, you play as like this guy that works in a jail that's in the afterlife, and you have to take care of these 4 girls who are delinquents, but they didn't commit any serious crimes yet. But you have to rehabilitate them so that they can go back to the real world. And I don't understand what the fuck's going on in that game. All right, and oh god, the thing is, it's basically a turn-based strategy RPG, or just a turn-based RPG. Like Final Fantasy, like it used to be, all that stuff. But they won't listen to you. You have to motivate them. And so the way you motivate them is you have to go into this one stage. This is on the Vita, by the way, but I play it on PlayStation TV. And you have to put them in tight-fitting gym clothes and whip them. I'm not making this up. You have to whip away their desires, or it's called temptations, and you have to whip the temptations when they pop up on the screen. And like, I couldn't do it. I felt so fucking uncomfortable. Like I said in the first hour, if you want to make a porn game, cool, go make a porn game. Like, go ahead and go do that. But don't have this charade of an RPG when you really just want to get to the porn parts. Like, if the game is entirely whipping girls, I would actually be more okay with that. But they're trying to pretend that there's an RPG in there. We'll get into that. So when you're whipping these girls, they have this conversation before where they're like, why do you want me to put this on? And it's like, oh, I don't feel good about this. And then and then they'll have other parts where they'll be like, please don't. I don't want to. And it's like, I really don't want to either, you know? And so after you whip them and they become obedient, it actually is telling them to be obedient. So gross. And by the way, when you're whipping them, it slowly reveals them being like in a sexually suggestive position with like large breasts hanging out or their ass in the air, whatever it is. So gross. And, oh God. And so now they'll listen to you, right? But then the battle system starts up. And basically the way the battles work is either you can have one character attack at a time, or both, or just two of the four characters attack at once. All right. So, why wouldn't you have them both attack at once? I don't know. Maybe like, because even if he kills the other one in one hit, then the girl will automatically select a new target. So why wouldn't you do that? You know, and then they don't even do anything. All they do is attack. They don't defend. And you just have to give them items, and they'll just automatically attack people. There's no RPG in here, and the story's dumb, and it's all about like hell or something. It literally looks like it was made on RPG Maker on the PlayStation 1. It's gross and stupid. Like, all the production values, all of it, the music and the graphics all go into those motivation whipping scenes, and everything else looks like shit. It's shockingly stupid. So pick it up today for $29.99 on the PlayStation.
Who made that
Vita.
game?
I don't even remember. NIS published it because NIS publishes everything that comes out of Japan that's garbage. And I have nothing against NIS because like they are smart enough to realize we can make a marginal profit off of these games. But
yeah, definitely. I mean, there's definitely a market for that.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know why there would be. Personally, I mean, I don't judge anybody else's kink. I'm not that guy.
Right away.
But
yeah.
I don't really understand why that needs to be involved in video games. But
I mean,
again, you go for it.
If you want to make a game that's called like Whipping Girl Simulator 2015, I will not object. Some people would say, well, that's really gross. And I'll say, yeah, I don't want to play it, but at least it's honest. Like, this game is dishonest. I read Playboy for the articles. It's a lie. You know what I mean?
They actually do have really good articles.
They really
though.
do. Yeah, like lots of great
I mean,
writers.
but there's also boobs, which is kind of the point.
Yeah, but they don't go below the waist because that's
Yeah.
what Hustler does.
That's why you got to get the dual subscription.
The dual subscription.
But this game, I mean, I haven't played it, obviously, because I play games I want to play.
I don't.
I have that benefit, so
I play whatever comes out.
But it seems like the issue that you have isn't the weirdness and the uncomfortableness.
Oh, I do have an issue with that because it's so when they say please don't, it's like no.
Again, somebody's probably into that.
Yeah,
but it seems like the issue you have is that it's trying to say that it's a game, but it's really not a game. It's
really not.
Whereas I've heard your stuff on Hatred, and I'm never going to play Hatred.
Yeah.
But Hatred
different.
is very honest about the type of game it is and what it's doing.
Yeah.
Which is like, once again, for some reason, to some people, it's like, yes, this is the game for me. And if you are that person, seek help.
Yeah, really.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're a bad person.
No.
You just might need to talk to somebody.
This is not a judgment on morality. This is a judgment on psychology.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about Hatred. I'm not talking about the girl whipping.
I would say both.
If you're into that and you keep it in your own home and it's only with adults that are consenting, you go, you do you.
These girls are probably like 15 too. It's really uncomfortable. I honestly I actually rewatched the video because I wanted to make sure all the audio was right. And I just saw my own face. I'm like, I don't even remember making that face. Like, it's that thing where you don't even remember it because like your entire like body is shut down because your brain is reacting too much.
When you told me that you were covering this, I almost could not stop laughing because I read an article on it earlier in the week, and I was like, "Oh my, is this a real game?
Yes.
Did somebody made this, and then someone paid for it to write this article, and then you were like, yeah, we're gonna cover this game." I was like, "Oh,
You want to
okay."
You know what's funny? You know what the next game we're gonna cover is? SpongeBob Hero Pants on the PlayStation Vita. Let's go from borderline child porn to borderline child entertainment. SpongeBob and the gang get superpowers. Holy crap, is this game suck? Okay, I was so worried because when I did a video on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze, and I'm like, guys, this game sucks. I just got like all these people that had like bad grammar telling me what an asshole I was. Like someone said, no one likes your gaming asshole. Or no one likes your gaming asshole, but no commas. So it's like I own a gaming asshole. Like I don't know what that
And
means.
apparently nobody likes it.
Or maybe they're saying that my asshole is gaming. I don't know what they mean, but they don't like it. Anyway, SpongeBob Hero Pants, I put out a video and I hated the game and everybody loves the video and I'm so happy because no one yelled at me. Everyone's like, this game sucks. And I just was like, thank God. Okay. Because I got so many thumbs down on that goddamn Turtles thing. Basically, I know. Basically what happens is you are playing an isometric third-person platformer. Like, you can't control the camera at all. And this was on the Vita, but it's the exact same version on the 360 and 3DS. And you just collect coins, and then you collect lightning bolts, and the lightning bolts let you temporarily be a superhero version of, like, Patrick or Sandy or SpongeBob or Plankton. Like, I know SpongeBob. I like SpongeBob. I got nothing against SpongeBob. He's cool. But, man, this game is so boring. Like, they recorded 3 lines for Patrick, and that's all he says, and he never shuts the fuck up. The whole time he's like, ooh, here's something I don't understand. I better smash it. And it's like, oh, Patrick. Ooh, shut the fuck up, Patrick. Like, it's literally throughout the hour, I just heard the same 3 lines over and over again. It honestly reminds me of a PlayStation 1 platformer. And I don't just say that to be like, oh, yeah, what a piece of garbage. I'm saying, like, it honestly reminds me of almost like Blasto or Bubsy 3D, except it's just isometric. Like,
God, I remember Blasto.
Phil Hartman, man. R.I.P. It's absolute trash, and like nothing happens. You just walk around collecting coins. Like, it is so barren. It's shocking. But it does have the music from the show, the little like ukulele bits. So that's pretty cool. That's
Well, I mean, it has SpongeBob, and it has stuff that takes time, and it has catchy music. So it sounds like the perfect game for a little kid.
No.
All it needs to do is keep him busy.
It won't. It won't. Because a kid will reject it because they're like, God, I'm so bored. And like, SpongeBob's not fun. SpongeBob's boring in the game. I'm like, how'd you do that? Like, he says stuff like, squid ink can also be used as motor lubricant. And that's a fun fact, SpongeBob, but I don't ever want to see SpongeBob being educational. Ever. He's not. He's fun. He's stupid. I love SpongeBob. I don't want him to teach me anything, you know? It sucks. Anyway. I played the new 3DS for 5 minutes, by the way. It feels good. Look for video next week.
The new 3DS
Yeah.
XL.
You gonna get one of those?
I'm considering it. I mean, I already have a 3DS that I really don't play, so I don't really see why I need one. But
Right.
I mean, I have a 3DS and I have I don't know, probably 5 or 6 games.
What do you like to play on like a 3DS?
Zelda games.
Yeah,
Those are,
Link-
Zelda games on handhelds are like the greatest thing in the world to me.
Majora's Mask coming out this
Yeah.
Friday.
I mean, Link Between Worlds, that was the one for 3DS.
Super good.
That game consumed my life for the like 5 days it took me to beat it. But
Holy crap! You beat it in 5 days?
I had a couple days off of work.
Yeah.
I didn't do much.
It
It was
you
not
did a lot.
It was
I
not a
disagree.
productive couple days.
Sounds like you did a whole hell of a lot in Zelda,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time tethered to a power outlet. But
That's very apropos that you say that, because we should mention once again, if you don't know and you're planning on buying a new 3DS, the new 3DS does not come with a power adapter at all. You must buy one from Nintendo, and they recommend that you do not purchase third-party devices, including Nintendo-approved third-party power adapters. They're like, don't do that. Just putting out that PSA. Real quick, I do want to mention that if you look in the manual of the new 3DS, it recommends, in case you want to like swap out the SD cards, you actually have to remove the back plating now. It's no longer on the side. Very important. They recommend a Phillips Type 0 screwdriver. That doesn't work, apparently. They got it wrong in the manual. You actually need a Phillips 00, whatever they call it. I don't know.
I have no idea.
It's like a 00. Basically, the one they recommend is a 0x50, where you actually need a 00x40 or a 000x40. It's actually in the manual. They're like, use Type 0. And all these video game critics are coming back and saying, that doesn't work. Like, don't do that. You'll strip the screw. How do they fuck that up? That's insane. You know, like, you made the device. You should know what to, like, can you imagine if IKEA just got it wrong? Like, IKEA just, like, had all these screws, but, oh, yeah, you don't need any of those screws. We put the wrong screws in there. So you gotta go buy screws. Like, holy crap.
But, I mean, this is also the same company that, came out with a system that is only slightly named differently than their previous system.
Which one?
So,
the new 3DS or the Wii U?
Yeah, actually,
or the
that's true.
Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess technically even the DS to the 3DS, if you're a parent
Jesus.
and you're not really in the know and your kid says that they want the Nintendo handheld,
2DS.
you would probably just buy the DS
DS?
or the 2DS.
The 2DS. What,
I mean, if you said my kid wants the Nintendo handheld and the person at GameStop said,
their head just explodes.
do you want the 3DS XL or do you want the original DS, which is like $40?
We also have
You'd
a
probably
2DS.
buy the original. Yeah.
You want the 2DS?
There's too many options. That's the problem.
Are you looking for a DS? I need a DS. DS or DS Lite? Or are you looking for the DSi?
DSi?
Yeah? No?
DSi XL?
Yeah, oh, sure. What? Like, what the hell did they do? This is so... like, we're slowly getting into the news here. You might not realize it, but we're creeping into the news because Nintendo's doing a lot of weird things. They're not getting their manuals correct about something that's really important. Like, when you have to take a screwdriver to your handheld, I don't know about you, but I'm sweating bullets. Like, I don't like that idea. I already don't want to do that, but at the very least, they should tell you what kind of screwdriver you need so you don't strip the screw and then ruin your system, you know? Because even the big one will actually scrape the side of the system. Like, come on. But let's get to the big story of the week, the big rumor of the week. Me and you potentially have very differing opinions on here, but that's cool. I like having differing opinions. That's excellent. Netflix is possibly developing a live action Zelda series. This is according to a report with a person familiar with the matter. They spoke to the Wall Street Journal saying that they're developing Game of Thrones for a family audience. Oh, man.
I don't think I read that tagline. I think I would have the same opinion as you based on that.
But you know what?
That sounds terrible.
Terrible. But who knows? Maybe this person that's familiar with it doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's wrong. They're not making a show. Or maybe they are, but it's not going to be a Game of Thrones for a family audience. Apparently, they don't even have a writer for the show yet. That's what the rumor is. Why are you so positive on this? How do you feel about this? What is the potential of a live-action Zelda series going forward?
Well, I think that right now, scripted TV, even though it plays second fiddle to reality TV, is very strong.
Yeah.
With shows like Sons of Anarchy, Breaking Bad,
MASH,
other things that aren't on
After
AMC
MASH.
or FX. But Netflix is kind of taking charge of that now with House of Cards, and then they have the 4 Marvel series coming out.
The Daredevil teaser.
It looks amazing.
I like Daredevil the movie.
I
don't
like
apologize.
Daredevil the movie, the director's cut.
I liked them both, but the director's cut is far superior.
Yes, it gives more story to it. But
There's actually a fucking lawyer in that movie.
But I do firmly believe that Marvel being in charge of any of their properties on film,
Right.
it's an A+.
Right.
Because they have yet to disappoint me. So, under that same vein, if Netflix is going to be the one developing this, they seem to know what they're doing when it comes to TV. So maybe they won't let Nintendo fuck it up, which is kind of seeming to be Nintendo's like their new slogan. Let's see how much we can fuck this up. Like, hey, we're going to release these Skylanders type figures. Oh, wait, never mind. We're going to take a bunch of them away.
Yeah.
And it's only the ones you want. You can have as many goddamn Marios as you want, but if you want a Little Mac, you can go suck a dick because you're not getting one.
We're going to get to that. And don't worry, we're going to be shitting on Nintendo all over the place. But And I got a 3DS, I got a Wii U. Bayonetta 2 was my favorite game of the year. And before that was Shovel Knight, which is also a Wii U exclusive at the time. So trust me, I like Nintendo.
I do too.
But so what could be good about this live action? What kind of story would you want to see? Or at least what kind of mood? Is it episodic? Is it 30 minutes? Is it an hour long? What is it?
I don't think it would work as a kind of a comedy show, so it would have to probably be an hour long because you can't make a half-hour drama because that's fucking ridiculous.
Well, excuse me, princess. We got to bring that up sooner or later. Fucking Steve Martin rip-off Link in the original original cartoon, the Adventures...
With Captain Nintendo?
Was it The Adventures of Link, I think is what it was called?
I believe so.
It was
I remember watching that when I was a kid once or twice.
I thought it was cool back in the day, but now that I'm older, I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it definitely has potential as a serialized, episodic, kind of like action-adventure-y type series, but they got to have the right people working on it. I mean, they have to get a writer that knows what they're doing. They can't just pull some random guy off the street. As much as I would love to have a job like that, I am not qualified to do that. Not even fucking remotely. They need to get somebody that's worked in television before, has a good track record of writing television, and then they need to get a showrunner that has already done this. Because if they do this and they fuck it up, there's no coming back. Nintendo is already third place on everybody's list when it comes to video game hardware companies.
Pretty much, even if with the 3DS they're losing out to iPhones. Yeah, they're beating out the Vita, but is that really saying much? You know?
Yeah.
And the Wii U apparently only has about 5 million units sold in America, less than 10 million worldwide. If they mess this up, like when they released the Super Mario Brothers movie, they could just sweep that under the rug so fast and it just bombed. It was like it was there and it was gone. But now it's like the digital age and we never let anything go, like the Super Mario Brothers movie. Like people now talk about it, but there's like a decade where no one mentioned that movie. If they fuck this up, it could destroy the Zelda franchise for a lot of people. I know it sounds ridiculous, but like, look what happened like Star Wars or Indiana Jones or George Lucas. Like any of those things are ruined forever just from small, minute things that people didn't like, you know? And here's why I'm not excited for this. What is the story of any of the games in Zelda? Like the actual individual story for just a singular title.
Aren't they all the same?
Kind
of. They
of.
just have slight differentiations based on mechanics.
Like, what would be what is the story of any of them? Like, just pick one and tell me what the story of just that game. Don't tell me what happened in the other games. I can't name, like, well, he was an elf or whatever, and a tree died. So he went and he's met a princess, and now he travels through time. Everything's bad now. He kills the guy and he goes back. Like, can you tell me about the scenes? Because every scene involves somebody saying, "Can you go do this for me?" And when you come back, they're like, "Thank you for going to do that." Like, the game is about you going somewhere and doing something. The story of Zelda, it doesn't exist. And the fans were so rabid for pretending it has a story that they started connecting all the games and saying, well, here's what happened after Ocarina of Time that led to Wind Waker with like the divide in the timeline. Like they developed that story. Like the most interesting stories of Zelda happen in between Zelda titles. So I don't think they can do it because it can't be faithful. Like it can never be faithful to Zelda because there's no story in Zelda. It's just, I don't even know what the story is. It's always just, I gotta kill Ganon. And Ganon's plot
or Ganondorf, depending on the game.
Ganondorf, correct. Well, he is always Ganondorf by the end, you know.
Yeah.
And he was Ganon in his human form, you know.
Wait, I thought he was Ganondorf in his human form and Ganon when he was in the pig form.
Oof.
See,
I don't even know.
I've played all of the games and I don't know this. I'm reeling from the fact right now that based on your premise, Dead Island is a Zelda game.
Oof.
Because you just do fetch quests.
It basically, but that's like what? Like, tell me the best plot point in a Zelda game, and it's like, oh, Sheik is Zelda. That's it. That's what you got. That's your best. That's like when you're like, wow.
I mean, it was okay.
No, I'm not.
I didn't think it was that great.
I'm not saying there aren't beautiful moments in Zelda where the music's all there and you hear something about like the goddesses, but that's backstory. Like the actual story of Zelda is nothing. It's just you running around like. They're talking about making that Mario Brothers movie or whatever. You know, don't stop trying. Like Nintendo has never had good characters. People always make the mistake of saying they have great characters. No, they have great design. And the design is wonderful and it's memorable, and you can put on t-shirts and you can play games for 100 years with the exact same designs, and it's perfect. But like, do I really want to see what Mario's up to? Not really. Is he on an adventure? And if he is, why can't I pick up the controller? Like, they're designed for play. They're not designed to be watched. Like, no.
Well, it's like this new Minecraft game that they have coming out, Minecraft Story Mode.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Minecraft doesn't need a story. You survive. That's and then you build shit. And then the server resets and you get really mad about it. Yeah. And then you just do it all over again because you're an addict. That's what you do.
Yep. That's
But I mean, the Nintendo games, I think a Super Mario movie could work really well if they did it as Super Mario Brothers 3 and fed into the fan theory that it's all a movie being shot.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they did it
yeah.
as like a meta movie.
Or a play or whatever.
Or a play, that's what it was. It was a play.
See, like, the best story of any Mario game, and like, I think Zelda doesn't have a good story in any of their games. I'm not saying, I think it's a great story for a game. It pushes you forward to want to play it.
But if it was a book, it'd be terrible.
It'd be like 25 pages.
And, well, and most of the
pictures.
most of the pages would be you trying to get from one side of the map till the other while killing the same enemy 80 times.
I mean, are they going to have an episode where it's just him hitting the same chicken for an hour, and then the last scene is just all the chickens flying in and killing him? Like,
it could work.
Okay.
Crazier things have happened.
I appreciate your optimism.
But it has to be done right. If they do it right, I dare to say it could revitalize Nintendo as a property. If they did it right. I mean, because a really good TV show like that could draw in so many people that don't play Nintendo video games.
If it had to be somewhere, Netflix is the best place to go.
Because that's what everyone does now.
Mm-hmm.
They sit on Netflix and they binge watch.
Yeah, you don't want to put this on Spike TV. Don't watch the Spike TV anymore.
I mean, if you're drunk and you want to watch 1,000 Ways to Die, that's the place to go.
That's a pretty cool show.
But if you're not drunk, don't watch 1,000 Ways to Die. You'll be afraid of everything.
I'm just putting out there the best story that any Nintendo games have ever had have been like Super Mario RPG and like Paper Mario and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. And that's it. Maybe I'm missing one. Like, Metroid is designed to be played. You could never make a movie out of Metroid. What would it be? It would be Other M. You don't want that. Ugh. I don't know. I appreciate your optimism. I'm happy that someone's saying, no, this will work, because hopefully someone else at Netflix is feeling the same way. Because if they think like I do, it's all going to shit fast.
Well, I mean, I've seen companies do things poorly, like, you know,
Wii U.
like the 90s Batman movies. And then they come out with Batman Begins, and it turns everything around.
I still like Batman Forever. I will that movie is really watchable. It's not a good Batman movie, but it's really
mean, even Batman and Robin, it's hilarious to watch, but it's a terrible movie.
Batman and Robin's,
but it is comedically amazing.
I like the cinematography in Returns. Batman Returns a lot.
But none of them are great Batman movies.
No.
So,
but hopefully,
that's my comparison, is they just have to pull off a Christopher Nolan. That's it. No pressure.
The once in a generation, like, idea of like a visionary director actually reaching pop culture status. Okay, that's all you gotta do, Nintendo.
Well, with the Wii U sales the way they are, they're gonna have to bet on something.
Seriously.
Because otherwise they're gonna be Sega.
Well, don't worry, because they're gonna be getting money from YouTube. Remember we were talking about, I was yip-yapping on the show last week about how Nintendo had that whole scheme where, hey, if you put out a video and it has Nintendo stuff, join the creators program and you'll get 70% of the video's revenue. Or if you, what am I trying to say? If you actually join them as the creators program for your whole channel, you'll get 60%, right? Now, right now, because I make Nintendo videos, they claim 100%. You get nothing, which is fine because I still want to make those videos because that gets people going to the site. Cool by me. I got no issue with it. But other people make their whole living based off of just YouTube revenue. And, well, Nintendo is articulated what they want to have happen. if you are going to create a YouTube channel and you're going to feature Nintendo and you want to be part of the creators program, and you decide, why don't you got the order 1886? Nintendo's like, you are out of the program. You are not allowed in the program. This is not a Nintendo product. Get out of here. Yeah, you cannot have any non-Nintendo content on your channel. What are they doing? Now, I don't care. I'm still going to cover it. They can have 100% of my revenue. I'm not going to join their program. Coolio, whatever. I got too much other stuff to cover. But do they not understand why Minecraft is popular? Like Minecraft is just people were playing it and then they were using it on Twitch. And without Twitch, I don't think it would have blown up anywhere near the level it is. Like anywhere, And now Nintendo's doing it again, where they're saying like, "Oh no, you're not allowed. You got to be part of our cult." That's basically what it comes down to. You've got to be in our cult, or else you can't have any videos on YouTube. Like, children don't play games from the stuff they see on TV. They don't read magazines, and they don't go to the mainstream websites. They go to some jerk that screams with a high pitched voice on YouTube. And to his credit, PewDiePie said, "I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to cover Nintendo ever." That's a big loss. Can you imagine if they went to PewDiePie and said, "Please play our game"? Do you know how important that would be? Thoughts, Brandon?
That would be a dark day for gaming. I mean, really dark. I mean, I watch Let's Plays every once in a while as like if I'm going to spend $20, I kind of want to see what I'm getting into, or
skip around the video,
that.
right?
Yeah, just kind of see what it looks like, and
right,
because I don't want to end up buying a game and then ending up with something terrible, though that has happened more than once.
There's something about...
I paid for the Mad Hazard game.
Oof.
It is one of the greatest mistakes of my life.
Oh, man.
I bought it sight unseen because I was like, this is such a great idea. There's no way this game can be bad. Oh my God, what have I done?
Great idea, though.
And then I beat the whole game because I'm a stupid man.
You're the only person with that achievement.
I think I might be.
Yeah. Well, okay, so like... I'm just, what I'm trying to say is like, with those Let's Plays, they're the best source of advertising because just people are so enthusiastic when they're playing a game on video, and it's instead of like trying to have some choppy commercial or some flashy trailer, like kids don't get that. They don't like that. It doesn't work anymore. They want to see somebody sit there and play the game, and then their dumb little idiot brains start thinking, oh, I could make that video. I better get that game. Like, they just want to make a video of what's already out there. And, Nintendo doesn't have Twitch on their system. They can't, I guess, for whatever reason. And now they're basically saying, we don't want to be a part of YouTube. That's what it comes down to, because anyone that does this kind of video stuff can't afford to just focus on Nintendo because they have such a small share of the market at this point. My son, and the 3DS, you can't capture a 3DS, so you're just screwed. All around.
You could put a camera above the 3DS while you play it.
I did that once.
It just depends on how badly you want to capture.
I did that once, and
but
it looked very bad.
I think that the reason that Let's Plays are so popular, it's not just because everyone's so connected to the internet. It's because a game trailer is usually pre-rendered.
Oh, man.
It's not
live action?
Yeah, or live action. So there's no way to tell what the game's actually going to be like.
Right.
Reviews usually don't have videos that are substantial enough to give you a feel of what the game is.
Or they're highly edited.
And you can't fucking go rent it anywhere because there aren't rental stores anymore.
And you know what's funny? Nintendo fought against rentals in America when they started. They have always fought against the thing that will help them.
Yeah, I mean, without rentals, I probably wouldn't own half of the N64 games I own because good luck trying to convince my mom to spend $60 on a game I know nothing about.
Well, the Nintendo 64, though, was actually pretty forward-thinking because they said, CDs, nah, cartridges. You see what I mean? They've constantly just said no. And then, like, when the GameCube comes out, they're just like, you want internet on this? Nah. And then the Wii comes out, and they're like, you don't want HD on this? Nah. And, hey, Wii was very successful, but they just keep trying to say no to the modern world, and it's just a bad idea. Like, hey, you want to have another rant? You can go for this one, all right? Amiibo.
Oh, fuck me.
Target's Rosalina Amiibo apparently is not going to be, actually going to have any more created. Their Target is saying their stock will not be replenished. And if I'm not mistaken, Rosalina is an exclusive at Target, I believe. She's one of the exclusives. So if you want Rosalina, eBay.
I don't know why you would, but if you do,
Yeah.
good luck, brother or sister, because you're not going to find it. As soon as that story came out, they disappeared from the shelves within hours. I guarantee it.
Oh my God.
Because I can attest, and
What-
my friends that are probably listening so they can make fun of me
Which-
will enjoy this.
What was the amiibo you wanted to get?
I wanted Little Mac
Good
because
choice, though.
I love the the Punch Out games.
Yep.
Super Punch Out was great. Punch Out Wii, I think I beat in almost one sitting. Like, I think I went to get food, but I sat on the couch and played that game nonstop until I beat it.
You go to Domino's and you just punch the guy and take the food.
I mean, and I was using it, you had to use the Wiimote and the nunchuck. So I'm getting a decent workout while I'm doing it too.
You played it like that? You're
Yeah.
hardcore, man.
Well, I mean, that was all I had. I was,
You can turn the controller over.
but, well, I wasn't thinking, obviously.
You're just like, oh my God, I want to play this right now.
I was already on vacation in a different state visiting an ex-girlfriend, so I obviously was not of clear mind at that
I'm
point.
just going to punch something.
But I was like, oh, you got to work? I'm going to go buy Punch Out. So that's what I did all day.
That's like the best vacation ever, man.
It was actually okay.
Yeah.
So anyways, I
went
love
to-
the Punch Out games.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to play as Little Mac in the new Super Smash Brothers because I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. So now that's who I play as all the time when we play. My friends hate it because I beat their asses.
Right.
They're like, this is bullshit. It's such a cheap character. And it's like, it's only cheap because you're bad.
Yeah.
It's the only reason.
Yeah, he's
So-
actually not that good in the air. He has lots of ways
No.
to like defeat him.
You just got to stay on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let everyone come to you. That's the way to do it.
See, what about if they do? Oh, no.
You do the counter,
Yeah.
and then you just knock them on their ass.
You play with items on and all that?
Yeah.
Oh, man, they should just throw items at you. Right?
Yeah, I mean, but I can dash under them then.
Oh, man, you probably are pretty
It's
good
awesome.
at this game.
I'm honestly, though, if I played online, I'd probably get my ass kicked.
Dude,
but-
online on Smash sucks. Like, there's so much lag.
Yeah.
Pisses me off. Whereas Mario Kart's great. But
Yes.
as to your point.
But trying to find this amiibo,
Mhm.
I went to 2 or 3 stores and I didn't find it. And then I saw the article. And then being the extremely stubborn person that I am, I was like, well, fuck you, internet. I'm going to find one. So I went to, I shit you not, every single Best Buy, Target, and Toys R Us in the greater Milwaukee area.
I've done that.
I went to like 12 stores. Oh, and all the GameStops too.
I've done that.
All of them.
Because you check online and you're like, I bet this isn't right.
I wasted at least a day, if not 2 days of
My
my life,
God.
trying to find this fucking amiibo, dragging my friends with me to the point where they were like, dude, just buy one online.
Right.
The amount you're spending in gas, you could just buy one for $30.
That's a pretty good point.
But by that point, I had committed.
Yeah, that
I was
point-
already half done with the city, so it was like, if I stop now, then I'm just a quitter.
So maybe Amiibo is the game. Find the Amiibo is the new Nintendo game.
Actually, you know what? The game of trying to find the amiibo is probably more fun than using one of those useless fucking things in
They
a
don't
game.
do anything.
So anyways, that's my point. If you want to find Rosalina, too fucking bad because somebody just bought it while you were listening to this podcast. So go ahead and pay $80 for one online so it can sit on your shelf. And actually, you know what? No. Everybody that's listening, the thousands of millions of listeners to this podcast, don't buy amiibos on eBay.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Yeah, don't support
Don't
the
support
scalpers.
that bullshit
Yep.
collector culture that jacks up the price of everything that becomes rare because companies want to sell more of it. That shit has bugged me for years. Being a comic book fan,
Oh, man.
I mean, trying to get a figure that was an exclusive for San Diego,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll just sell my car so I can buy an action figure.
It's-
No, that's not going to happen.
What is it? The exact same action figure you already have, but it has like an armband, like some bullshit variant. where it's
Actually,
like,
it was the Hal Jordan brightest or blackest night collection where it was all the different
Ooh.
colors. But the cheapest they had it online was $800 for 6 figures, and I was like, "Yeah, no, I'll just make my own for half of that."
you just took like a black spray paint can, just. Wait.
Actually, that's a really good idea. I should do that.
Is he in the black costume in that? That's
In-
just not.
They had all of them.
Yeah.
yeah.
So what was it like? It was
The black costume and the white costume, I think, were exclusives for different conventions. So it
Is it-
was red, yellow, orange, blue, indigo, and violet.
Oh, he's got all it. Wait, are you talking about like the different lanterns, or is it Hal Jordan as all of those different types of?
All the different types of
Weird.
Like there's 6 different figures.
I didn't know that he actually ever got any of those other rings.
Yeah, it happened at different parts in the series, but
Was he actually wearing like a yellow ring at one point?
yeah,
That's scandalous.
yeah. But I
What?
stopped reading comics when the new 52 came out. So
I wonder why.
and then I was like, you know what? I need a new addiction. I should get back into professional wrestling.
Let's avoid that because we literally talked for like 30 minutes about pro wrestling before the podcast. Let's
Yes, we
be
did.
nice to Nintendo. Club Nintendo revealed their final awards. You have until the end of June to spend these coins. And I gotta say, there's actually some fantastic stuff on here. You get stuff like Wonderful 101 for Wii U, 600 coins, or NES Remix, 300 coins, or, Game and Wario. Not a great game, but 600 coins. 3DS, I think, was the best. Check this out. Star Fox 64 3D, 700 coins. Currently retails for about $35. Kid Icarus Uprising 3DS, 700 coins. Currently goes about $40. Not a great game, but you can, New Super Mario Brothers 2, that's like $20, 600 coins. Super Mario 3D Land, by far one of the best games on 3DS, 600 coins. It's pretty good. It's not great, but I don't know. I already bought Kid Icarus and Star Fox because I'm like, fuck, that's, if you compare it to the money, that's the best value, like bar none.
I got Wonderful 101,
That's
and then I have a couple more of those cards I have to redeem quick before it runs out, so I can get NES Remix.
Wonderful 101 is really good, but I would go online and like watch like a strategy video quick because it does not explain its mechanics very well. Like you'll be so pumped after the first cutscene, and then it's like, wait, what the fuck's going on? I gotta draw an 8. Oh, another fist. What? So.
Wait, I have to draw things?
Yeah, you have to draw it on your. It's good though.
Oh, on the gamepad?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like you'll draw a straight line, they'll turn to a sword.
There's a game that actually uses the gamepad as part of the game?
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
I'm not paying
turns
for that
up.
game.
That
It's
game
just not happening.
That game's really bad.
Yeah.
I hate that Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. Anyway, let's move on. The Xbox One, Wii U, and 3DS will get a version of Ollie Ollie later this year. Apparently it will happen at some point in March.
Great game.
Very good game. Speaking of Xbox One, Halo 5 Guardians, they had the multiplayer beta. Over 20 million matches were actually registered during that beta. That averages out to 2.5 million hours. So pretty successful. What is
Impressive.
this? That's 290 years worth of gameplay. Okay.
I guess that's something.
Numbers! Numbers become other numbers. We're coasting along. None of these stories are as interesting as the Nintendo stuff this week. Crystal Dynamics, of course, is working on Rise of the Tomb Raider for the Xbox One. The exclusive? That's how
Timed exclusive?
Exclusive? That's how everyone has to pronounce it. You have to have that infection in there because otherwise it's kind of dishonest. But they will not be making the 360 version. That will actually be developed by Nexus Software. Apparently they're pretty good. Okay. Then let's move on to actually a pretty big story. Sony has sold off Sony Online Entertainment. Sony Online Entertainment has now become a brand new company called Daybreak Game Company, LLC. These, of course, in case you don't know, Sony Online Entertainment, basically they work in PC. I think it's safe to say, right? Stuff like DC Universe Online, PlanetSide 2, EverQuest Next, which is coming out shortly at some point in the future. They were acquired by Columbus Nova and sold off by Sony. And, I forget the name of the guy who runs the company, but he just put out a tweet that said, "Can't wait to develop games for the Xbox One." So there's no question there about what they're going to be doing. And I think legally speaking, they own the rights to things like EverQuest and PlanetSide 2. So those games could go to Xbox One. Like at first I was like, no way. Sony absolutely owns those properties, but I guess not. It's weird. They're technically part of the deal. Like they sold off all that because that's the only value for that company. If you just sold off the company, what's it worth?
I don't know if PlanetSide 2 is going to get a huge following on Xbox One, but
You've
I
played
know
that, right?
I have played it.
What do you think?
It's good.
Yeah?
I mean, it's insane, actually. I mean, it's and it has a huge following on PC.
Right.
So, I mean, it'd be good for both of those systems if they could expand that into that area.
What am I doing wrong when I play PlanetSide 2? Because I always just start off in an empty base, and then like someone just lands a ship and shoots me in the face, and there's no one else there.
That happens to me every once in a while too.
It happens to me every time I've ever played it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I'm not entirely sure.
It's like, I don't know. I'll send you screen caps. You can be like, oh yeah, you have to not do that.
That's the solution.
Don't do it, kids. PlayStation Now. Remember the subscription service that allows games to be streamed directly to your PlayStation 4, your PS Vita TV, I guess eventually to Vita and PlayStation 3. That's all in beta, but PlayStation 4, it's officially out. They actually have more games that came out recently on there. Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, God of War 2 HD, Red Faction, Armageddon, Galaga Legion DX, and Arcana Hearts 3 is going to be on PlayStation Now. That, of course, is a very fast-paced 2D fighter, which will be on a streaming service, which I consider a war crime. Seriously. Can you imagine playing Street Fighter on a streaming service? Like, holy shit, no. Don't do that. That's stupid. But, PlayStation Plus is pretty good. I don't know if you had a chance to ever see it.
I have not, but if a game requires such precise input that people use wired controllers over wireless, it probably should not be on a streaming service.
That is a very good comment. That gets a gold star,
That's
right?
pretty much all you need to say about it.
That's really spot on. But let me ask you something else real quick. God of War 2. Did you ever play God of War 2 back in the day? Remember that part where they made you press a button at a certain time, every 30 minutes?
Yeah.
That's a really bad idea to make that on a streaming service. I don't know. Maybe they've polished it off.
I think Uncharted has some QTE events too. Or
does.
QTEs. Yeah.
It's not necessarily like a QTE, but there is definitely something where it's like, hey, this building's falling over, so you have to keep jumping up. But it's not obvious right away because they want to create player urgency.
Yeah, you gotta die a couple times first.
Oh my God. Anyway. Moving on, Sony shipped 6.4 million PlayStation 4 units, shipped, not sold, on the third quarter of the financial year 2015, which is also known as basically the last 3 months of our year. So, here's what they've got. They originally projected a net loss of $1.96 billion. Okay. But now they're expecting a loss of $1.45 billion. Hooray! Sony, of course, is in a very, very, very bad state. The PlayStation is very successful. Everything else is not. Even Sony Pictures didn't have a bang-up year. Anybody hear about those Spider-Man spin-offs recently? Oh. They were talking about them before the movie came out, and I wonder what happened.
The movie was terrible.
And no one saw it. That movie's really bad. Movie's dog shit. But they still have 19.9 million PlayStation 4s sold worldwide, a mere, 14 months after the fact. So, or 15 months, right? Because it came out in November. Pretty damn good. So, yeah. But then again, they sold off Sony Online Entertainment. Apparently, that's creating a write-off for them of $52.8 billion. $52.8 million, not billion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do I sign up to go to that party?
Yeah, they own part of China. So good for them. Selling off assets that are not necessarily profitable. Very good idea. I mean, I don't know how many people play DC Universe Online. No disrespect for the game, but does that really, making much money? I don't know.
I played it for a couple months.
Did you make what kind of hero did you make?
I think he had a bow and arrow because I like Green Arrow.
Was that before Arrow came out or after?
Yeah, it was before. That was why I bought a PS3, actually, was for that game.
Dude, all these people walking around now being like, oh, I love Arrow. It's like, motherfucker, you don't know anything about Arrow.
It is a great show, though.
My favorite Green Arrow of any interpretation is the Justice League Unlimited version of Arrow. He's like the perfect combination of the classic version, but the Denny O'Neil influence of politics and shit. There's even a point where he's like, I'm a lefty, and it's like, fuck yeah, he still is cool.
But with DC Universe Online, I think the problem I ran into is I was in a, shall we say, awkward phase or more awkward than normal phase of my life.
What were
And
you
it was
doing?
like, no, and it was like, I was playing the game and it's like, oh, I have to like talk to people and play with. I kind of just want to play by myself. Can I do? Oh no, I'm just dying constantly. All right, well, I'm not playing this game anymore. So
You lie to everybody and be like, "Oh, I have a disability. That's why I can only type. I can't use voice chat."
I mean, I had a Bluetooth headset, but I could never get it to work.
Yeah.
So,
PS3, it was really hard to get those
and
to
it was
work.
well, it was the PS3 one too, so it was already crappy.
Fuck.
So
Yeah, I mean, you know what's weird? I'll actually take a USB microphone. Like we're using these nice microphones right now. You can just plug this into a PS3 or PS4.
really,
You can just use them like that. It's so weird. Probably a PlayStation 4 more than a PlayStation 3 because I don't know if they have enough power. Like whenever I use videos for the first hour, if I just stream on Twitch, I just plug the microphone into my PlayStation 4. So it works. It's so weird. PlayStation 4 has really good voice commands too. Anyway, Netflix has predicted that a 4K capable Xbox One and PlayStation 4 will arrive at some point this fall. Interesting. According to this Netflix individual, we remain committed to bringing leading entertainment features. That was a weird sentence. And services to the living room. Beyond that, we have nothing to share at this time. Sony was also talking to Forbes. This is where this came from. Support for high-resolution 4K output for still images and movie content is in consideration, but there are no further details to share at this time. I don't care about 4K at all.
I don't have enough money to care about 4K.
Is your TV curved?
No,
Like,
no.
I don't know if anyone. I believe 4K will never be the future, and that sounds like you're insane because obviously that's where it's going next. But really, I think like 8K will probably be the future.
Yeah.
Like, there's just something about this where this technology just feels so weird. It's kind of like when back in the day when everyone had plasma TVs. You knew like one dude had a plasma TV before HD TVs really took off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, 4K, I mean, it sounds nice and all, but I guess I don't.
You
I'm
sound
not
so
the
calm.
video guy.
Me
like
either.
I like stuff in HD, but I personally, and I know I'm going to get crucified for this, but I can't really tell the difference between different types of HD. I mean, sometimes the edges are a little bit less jaggy, but
Right.
most video games don't even run at 1080p
No.
unless you're on PC.
But even then,
But-
it's kind of like, well, yeah, you definitely have more pixel density. Great.
Which is super awesome, apparently, for reasons that I don't understand.
It's weird because it takes a game like a 2D game like Rayman Legends for me to be like, wow, you know, it's like, but if
Well,
I'm
that's like most of the Blu-rays I own
yeah,
are animation. Because animation looks incredibly crisp in HD.
I totally agree because
Well-
you can actually restore that rather easily.
Yeah. But watching, like, I don't know, High Fidelity or something, the John Cusack movie in HD, means nothing.
Well, yeah,
Because it doesn't need to look good. It's not about the visuals. But if a
Big,
movie is high in special effects or animation, then makes sense.
the Blu-ray of Ghostbusters says 4K on it. Must be 4K. It says it right there on the disc. You can fit it on one of those, you know. Let's move over to Capcom. They had a pretty interesting year. They had net sales so far this year of $407 million. Now, that's only reporting the first 9 months of the year. But they also had operating income come up to $45.5 million. The problem for them right now is this is all year over year, by the way, so doing quite well, but they're actually down based off of performance by 36% compared to last year, because last year they had Monster Hunter, so they're missing about a third of what they had last year. Not so good at this stock shit. I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's not really surprising because all of their series have kind of become stagnant. We're releasing another version of Street Fighter. Resident Evil isn't selling what it used to. There's no such thing as Mega Man anymore, I guess. And so they have even had comments over their financial report saying we're moving towards mobile. We want to be focused on mobile, and that's why they're releasing like that Mega Man game only in Korea on cell phones. So I mean, Capcom's kind of a shell of themselves. They didn't have a great year last year, but the one thing they had was Monster Hunter 4, and that's gone. That already came out. Everyone in Japan that was going to buy a copy, they bought a copy, and now it's coming to America. I don't think it's going to do gangbusters. Thoughts, Brendan?
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, please interrupt because I there was a lot of me just being like, what can I say about money? Money is important.
I think Capcom, I don't know why they're not taking advantage of some of the licenses that not licenses, I guess IPs that they have, like Mega Man and stuff like that, because Capcom, back in the day of NES and Super NES and Genesis, Capcom games were like some of the best games.
They were third-party
all the
kings.
time. I mean, if you saw Capcom on a game, it was like, oh, this game's actually going to be good.
Final Fight, Street Fighter, all the Disney games that they made.
DuckTales still holds up.
I would say I'm more of a Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger.
Oh my God. I totally forgot about that. I went back and played that game like a year ago, and I was like, holy shit, this game is still amazing.
You just pick up the person you're playing with and just throw them, just be a dick about it.
Yep.
You want to play that game with a Game Genie because you'll want to kill your friend a lot.
Yeah, definitely. But, I mean, it just seems like now I don't know. I mean, what are they going to do? Release more Dead Rising 3 DLC that nobody wants to play?
Oof,
I mean, I haven't even played it yet because, once again, way too expensive on PC.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Pay $30 for a game? Like some kind of savage? That's not happening.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to do with Capcom. Like, what direction could they go in? I would say create new franchises. Try and take the younger people at your company and give them a shot at creating games. Because it seems like they're taking these old franchises and like, all right, Resident Evil 6. And everyone's like, Jesus Christ, no. What are you doing? Like, they don't have the creators that they used to. The franchises that they do have once again, they took Street Fighter and they revitalized it. And I went, oh my God, this is amazing. Street Fighter is back. And then they just proceed to re-release it and poison the well again. Like, if they had just focused on DLC instead of having, like, brand new versions on disc, maybe it wouldn't have that, even though, of course, you could download many of the updates after Super Street Fighter 4. But, I mean, we're waiting on Ultra Street Fighter, and at the same time, Street Fighter 5's still coming, and apparently Sony had to help pay for that. It doesn't sound like Capcom's doing so good. But whatever.
Somebody should buy Capcom.
A lot of people said Microsoft should. That was the rumor going around. I don't like that, but
I mean, like another developer, not Microsoft or Sony.
You know what? I will fucking cry when they eventually have some stupid Japanese company connected to their name, like Bandai Namco and Square Enix. It's like, no, it's Squaresoft. God damn it! It's not Square Enix. Squaresoft makes games and Enix makes games. They're not the same thing, but. Yes, they are.
Square Enix, Capcom, Namco, Bandai.
Coming
2017.
Is it Bandai Namco? I honestly can't remember. Or Namco Bandai, because they literally have switched the name twice.
Colin, it's whichever one you want it to be.
There we go.
Because you know what? That's not your problem.
That's theirs. Is it Take Two or Two Take? But let's move on to Take Two. They had a rather good third quarter so far in the year. Their net revenue is $531.1 million. But last year at the same time, they had 1.86 billion. So that's like more than half is gone. And the reason why is because then Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. You serious? It's Grand Theft Auto 5. But what's cool is that you would assume that this would mean, well, we need more Grand Theft Autos. Not so, says Strass Zelnick. I love that guy's name. What he's actually said is that they're not interested in creating annualized franchises. They point to things like NBA 2K and WWE, and they say, that's annualized because it has to be. Those are sports franchises. But don't expect Grand Theft Auto or Civilization or Borderlands to be released every single year. They said that's poisoning the well. I used the same analogy twice or whatever it is, phrase. And I honestly, I'm happy because I'm so fucking sick of just seeing Assassin's Creed. It's like every 3 months and to see some hooded guy with like a hidden blade jumping into a wheelbarrow.
The key is to just stop playing them. Then they'll stop coming out. That's a solution.
I played an anime girl game this week. I'm pretty sure I have to play whatever they put out. I live in hell, man. This, I don't. Did you played? Are you waiting for Grand Theft Auto 5 to come out on the PC?
I am, and it's driving me crazy.
Really?
Because people keep asking me, like friends of mine that have played Grand Theft Auto 5, like family members that have played Grand Theft Auto 5. They're like, "Hey, did you play Grand Theft Auto?" No.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna buy it on 360 or PS3 because once again, I'm stubborn. So at this point, I've waited this long.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go back and play the shitty last gen version, and I'm not going to buy a new console
No
when
way.
I can just wait and get it on PC.
Honestly, I think it'll probably be best on PC. Like, it just has that feel to me where it would really work out, especially with Grand Theft Auto Online. But man, the story really sucks in that game. But the online game is really fun. You just go around and just rob convenience stores, and then you just get in a car and drive away, and the cops come after you. And if you screw up, and sometimes the convenience store guy will just pull out a shotgun, and if you shoot him, you'll get way more stars. So you have to figure out, am I going to dodge this bullet, or do I shoot him and make sure I get all the money? It's really good. But so far, Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold 45 million copies worldwide, and in that number right there, 10 million of those are on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One alone.
That's a lot.
The game came out, November? And they already sold 10 million.
Yeah.
3 months later. That's
Because
like
everybody bought it,
3.3 million a month.
even though most of them probably already played it. I mean, I have several friends that have already played it on 360 or PS3, and then they bought it again on next gen, and I don't know why.
I did it too because...
Well, yeah, but you buy everything.
You
played the girl whipping game.
Yeah. It's...
And Unity. So, and those are in the same category.
Yeah, but like, I mean, you got to give them credit. I mean, they've definitely been selling really well, especially with Take-Two's franchises in general. They just announced that Civilization shipped over 29 million copies worldwide. They don't say sold, they say shipped right now.
Take-Two will never get any credit from me until Red Dead Redemption comes out on PC.
Oh my god.
And it's never going to happen.
Sure will.
So fuck them.
Xbox simulation is Xbox 360
no,
simulation.
I want a dedicated PC port.
Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Whoa.
It's garbage.
Was that TLC or Salt and Pepper? I might be getting that wrong. There's that song, Never Gonna Get It. I don't know.
Yeah, I know the song, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't keep up with your early 90s girl groups?
Email and let us know.
Pressurecast
what
at
it is.
gmail.com.
Yeah.
We also
Shameless plug.
We got the pressure line as well. You heard it at the beginning of the show. Call that number. Let me know. Battleborn, of course, is the upcoming game that will apparently be some sort of MOBA first-person game being made by Gearbox. They have stated that the game will come out before the end of the fiscal year for 2016. So before March 31st, 2016, that's when we can expect Battleborn. That's all they said. This was in a financial earnings call.
I mean, it looks cool, I guess.
Cool. That's always
Borderlands
reassuring.
the MOBA is something. I don't give a shit.
You know what? I hope you do. You like Borderlands a lot, right?
I do. I still haven't beaten Borderlands 2 because
Yeah.
I've been playing with two of my friends and they're much higher levels than me. So the enemies are stronger, so I die constantly.
Oh man, that sucks.
So
I-
I still haven't finished it.
You know what? If it's really cheap, maybe check out the pre-sequel. I actually thought it was a lot better than Destiny. Like, it was really fun.
I'm really happy Destiny hasn't come to PC because I never have to worry about accidentally playing it.
But Destiny is doing quite well, segue, as it has 16 million registered users playing on an average of 3 hours a day. This, of course, is according to Activision, that said that Destiny, in their financial year, has earned them over $850 million. Nearly $1 billion just on that title alone.
How?
Game sucks.
I have not heard any good things about that game. Ever.
Yeah, and even the people that are like, oh, I don't like it, but I can't stop playing it. It's like, yeah, you can. Just, like, like, here's what I don't get. It's just like people that like keep going to the movies every single week, and they're like, man, all these movies are really bad. And it's like, have you seen Citizen Kane yet? Nah. Well, why not? Go watch that. Like, go do. There's all this stuff everywhere, and we have access to it instantly. Like, you could be playing Chrono Trigger right now, but no, I want to play Destiny. You know what I mean?
You know what? I'm putting this out there.
Okay.
If you are listening to this podcast right now, and if you listen all the way until the end, which could be hours from now for all we know.
Yes.
If you listen to the end, I'm going to give out my Steam name.
Oh, yeah.
And if you send me a message, I have a serious game buying problem, and a lot of times I get extra copies of shit for no reason.
Yeah.
I will send you a fucking game instead of playing Destiny.
They're just going to skip to the end of the podcast.
It's not going to be it's not going to be a great game, but it'll be a game. My Steam name is Brandon Snow with a 0 instead of the O in snow. So BRANDONSN0W because I'm a fucking tool.
Brandon with an O, not an E. Very important.
BRANDONSN0W. Send me a message. I'm sure I'll have a bunch of them in the next couple days. I think I have like 12 games sitting in my Steam library that were either gifts that I bought for people that I don't play games with anymore, or I just woke up one day and it was like, holy shit, I have an extra copy of Portal 2.
I don't know how that happens anymore.
Well, I mean, a lot of people got like 2 games out of nowhere one day. And I was like, oh, they'll probably take it. And that was like 2 years ago. So
I got Portal 2 for $10. And you might be saying, why would you brag about that? Because I actually bought it for the PlayStation 3 at Kmart, and it came with the voucher for the PC version.
Yes.
Oh, it's so, and that was actually when the game was still, for whatever reason, on Steam. Like it was like about $30 for whatever reason, unless you went to a sale, and then it would be about $10 to $7.50.
Actually, in addition to what I said earlier,
actually, I bought 2 copies, and then I flipped it one immediately and got about $25. It was great.
In addition to what I said earlier, I also have a shit ton of extra Humble keys. So, if you send me a message declaring that you will no longer play Destiny, that it has to be in the message.
Yeah.
I will send you either a Steam game directly on Steam, or I will give you a Humble key. I seriously have like 80 extra Humble keys.
You are bribing people.
I'm dead serious. People need to play good games.
What about Skylanders?
That's okay. You can play Skylanders.
It's a $3 billion franchise now.
You're welcome for the segue.
Yeah. What about Call of Duty, which is now an $11 billion franchise in revenue? Pretty crazy.
I would tell people not to play Call of Duty, but I don't have that many extra keys, so deal with it.
Okay, let's move on to the most important news story of the week. The OBox is coming to Europe. The OBox is coming.
Holy shit.
I know, and you might be saying, you are saying the wrong name of the system. It's Xbox. Nuh-uh. The Chinese system that is created by Snail Games, it's an Android-based system. The OBox will come to the UK at some point in 2016. Its most popular game from Snail Games is Age of Wushu, which has over 5.5 monthly players. That's an MMO in China. So yes, the OBox. It actually looks kind of cool. It's like green. It's a green system.
They should just go buy an Ouya. Or better yet, you can have mine, because why did I buy that?
This apparently is going to be incredibly powerful, though. It's like the Ouya is nothing compared to it, because this will actually support 4K video. Like, it's going to be very powerful. In fact, one of the representatives of Snail Games even said, the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are already 2 generations behind in processing data and video. They will be 4 or 5 generations behind by the end of their life. So he's saying this is going to be the real deal. But it's Android architecture. And I can't help but feel that limits it somehow. Even though I know it doesn't, it has all the potential. Like, enough people have been dicking around with the Raspberry Pi. I don't know.
But you're only going to be able to play Android games.
Well, apparently Snail Games is going to be developing cool stuff. So who knows what that's going to be. It's going to be like the Sega Master System all over again, where the person that developed the system has to make all the games.
Ugh.
Anyway. Let's talk about the Humble Bundle. We've got that Star Wars Humble Bundle, which by the time you're listening to this, you only have about a week.
They should be adding new games this week, I think.
That's what I'm really curious about. Let's talk about the games that are in there and then just speculate about things that we have no right to speculate on. Here's what you get if you name your price. You get Jedi Knight Academy, Jedi Academy. I didn't know that was in there. I fucking love Jedi Academy. I don't even like Jedi Knight. I like Jedi Academy. I think that's like the best one. Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, Dark Forces, Republic Commando, if you pay more than the average, Knights of the Republic 2, Battlefront 2, and if you pay more than $12, you get The Force Unleashed, Ultimate Sith Edition, The Force Unleashed 2, and Empire at War Gold Pack. Empire at War. So yeah, they're going to add more games. What are they missing here?
What was that other Star Wars RTS from before Empire at War?
Yeah, they were both pretty.
It came out like right after episode 2, I want to say.
Yeah, it was one of those points where it was like one of the last PC games that was like a kind of a hit at E3.
Yeah, and you play basically like every single race is literally the same. They're just reskins.
That game is so bad.
I bought that and the expansion. I was a stupid child. So this Humble Bundle comes out, and I haven't bought a Humble Bundle in a while because
yeah, you already own all the damn games. Probably
confession coming. Once I hit 600 games, I was like, you know what? I'm only going to buy games that I'm going to play within like a week of buying them.
True,
Otherwise, I'll just wait.
Yeah.
So I haven't bought a Humble Bundle in like 6 months.
Right.
So I see this and I'm like, holy shit, Republic Commando. I love that game. I got to play that. And then I'm like, wait a second. I got to check my library just to be sure before I buy it. Yeah, totally forgot that on a Steam sale, I bought the Star Wars franchise pack. So I own every fucking Star Wars game that's on Steam already.
Okay, here's what I'll say.
Granted, I got it for like $20. So it was a really good deal, but I have nothing to gain by buying this bundle.
How much you want to bet that the games they're going to add are going to be TIE Fighter
X-Wing.
and X-Wing? I can't think of anything else they can add. Were they going to add that awful NES Star Wars game? Maybe.
Well, it would have to be, theoretically, it would have to be something that's on Steam.
You'd think so, but like those two games aren't on Steam, are they? I thought they were just good old games. The X-Wing and...
That's true.
And I'm not entirely convinced that... I guess, yeah, all these are on Steam so far. But there's nothing else they could really add, right? I mean, obviously they're going to add, Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
I don't like any of those games. I think Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy is the best because you create your own Jedi, you actually pick what color your lightsaber is, and all the missions are about 10 minutes long, and they're super action-packed. It's like the best part of the stage immediately. Like, okay, you have to jump on top of this train and then fight your way through a train until you get to the main area and fight this guy. And it's really cool. And like the force powers aren't janky as fuck like they are in, the other ones where it's like, I don't know. It feels like it was designed in a weekend when you're trying to use lightning and super speed. Like you're just crashing into walls or missing. And this game actually has like a good lock-on system because you could lock on because you had the force. Makes sense? I don't know.
Dark Forces 2 is the first PC game I ever bought.
Whoa.
And my computer couldn't run it.
I think the first PC game I ever bought was like Day of the Tentacle or somewhere around
See,
there.
that's actually a good game.
Wait a minute. Is it all going to be Star Wars games? Yeah. Okay. It's going to be Star Wars.
Well, if it's... Are both of the Knights of the Old Republic games already in there?
Yeah.
Oh, then I don't know what they're going to add.
Yeah, me either.
Star Wars The Old Republic 10-day pass?
By the way, Republic Commando, holy crap. It's so good. It's basically Rainbow Six, but you're like one of the clone troopers. It's fucking great. And like you have a visor that wipes blood off your screen. I think I already talked about this last week.
Wait, is Jedi Starfighter in there? Is that one of them?
No.
The one where you fly the Naboo fighter?
Oh, I bet they could add like Rogue Squadron and stuff.
Yeah.
That's on Steam.
Yeah, because I want to say it's Jedi Starfighter.
Right.
I'm probably wrong, but I'm just remembering a game in my library that has that fucking dumb-looking yellow ship as the Steam tile.
Hey, you should really check out, in case you're interested in Star Wars. Someone actually, for Dolphin emulators, they just showed off like the way that they're improving textures by showing off Rogue Squadron 2 on the GameCube on Dolphin, and it's like incredible.
But don't use emulators.
No, unless you delete the emulator within 24 hours.
Yes.
By the way, the Star Wars Humble Bundle has raised $1.3 million in only 24 hours.
It will raise much more than that.
Yes.
Going forward.
Dark Souls 2 will run at 60 frames a second and at 1080p on the PlayStation 4, according to the PlayStation's official Twitter account. Okay. That game is not great. I will still stand by that Dark Souls 1. If you seriously play Dark Souls 1, if you got a PC and you got both choices, Dark Souls 1, bar none, better game every way. Like just level design, progression, like oh man, that game's so good.
Own it, haven't played it.
If you start playing it, you might beat in 100 hours, so get cracking. It's no Link Between Worlds, but
according to SteamGuard, my backlog would take me several hundred years to complete.
I hate that app. That app just ruins your life.
I mean, to be fair, like a lot of my games I got from bundles.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of shitty games.
Yeah.
I mean, like Bundle Stars bundles
Ooh.
or like Indie Royale.
Ugh.
Yeah. Well, because it's like I want one game
and
I'm
cheaper.
paying $2.
Right.
Well, fuck it. I'll take the other games. I'll up my Steam count.
Maybe one of these days I'll get around to playing Mafia 2.
I couldn't get that.
Oh.
For that golden joysticks. I tried to get that and Civ 5, but it wouldn't give me both, so I just have Civ 5.
Oh yeah, that's how I got mine too on the Green Man Gaming thing.
Yep,
God.
the golden joysticks voting last year.
It's a sad life when you're just like, I'll go to Cheap Shark again for the 5th time today, see what's going on.
Is there any deal?
Well, speaking of money, Radio Shack has none. They're filing for bankruptcy, and they're going to sell off 2,400 stores.
I'm not a huge fan of Radio Shack, but that is sad.
It really is. 94-year-old company. By the way, I mean, like, I went there and always found exactly what I need. I always need little parts, little one thing. It's like, well, this audio screwed up. I can't get the video right. I need this, like, to transfer data, and it has to go through this stupid thing. Always went to Radio Shack. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Amazon, probably. Just Amazon.
Maybe if they ever build a micro center, you could find stuff like that there.
Is that Canadian only?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
But they do own a big plot of land in Milwaukee. They just haven't built anything yet. They've owned it for like 6 years.
Those bastards. I want my micro center. Why do you need a big plot of land for a micro center? Don't make no sense. Jace Hall, he was one of the people behind Condemned. He has actually been talking about how he owns the IP, and that he wants to make another title, and he might be going to Kickstarter. I am contemplating finding an interested and proven indie developer team and providing the IP to them. You ever play any of those Condemned games?
Own them, haven't played them. Does anyone see a pattern?
No pattern here. No. Assassin's Creed Rogue will be coming to the PC in March, and we'll have eye tracking support. It's a really good game. Way better than Uni. Highly recommend Rogue. It's just fun. In the first 10 minutes, they're like, here's a ship. Your ship's yours now. Bye. It's like, okay, cool.
Well, it can't be worse than Assassin's Creed 3.
Man.
So boring. So much potential, too. I was so excited for that game. And then, like, I was like 10 hours in, and I was like, oh, God, what happened? This was supposed to be fun.
How did they fuck up the American and French Revolution? Like, undeniably the most dynamic and interesting points in, like, history prior to the 20th century. Like, how do you do that?
Because they're obviously biased to the Italian Renaissance.
They're fucking French. They couldn't get the French Revolution right. Like, they fly all over the world, take all these pictures, but then they have to step outside with their own camera like, I don't know, it looks like whatever, fuck it. Disney's Infinity will now have two characters from Tron as well as Jasmine. But guess what? No physical release for the Tron characters.
Isn't that the whole point of the game? Is that you have the physical things?
No.
I mean, I get that it's Tron.
It's Tron.
But
Tron don't get no respect.
I'm glad I never got into that. Or Skylanders, because
Me either.
With my addictive personality,
You're driving around for an amiibo for a couple of days.
It was Little Mac, goddammit.
Okay, all right.
It was Principal.
You think they'll ever acknowledge that there is like regular Mac? Because like he was
Little Mac's father.
Well, he was in the original Punch Out, and then when they brought it home, they made Little Mac because they couldn't handle the wireframe graphics on the console.
Ah,
so when are they going to bring out regular Mac?
Well, I play as wireframe Little Mac on Smash Brothers when I want to fuck with people because they're like, what the fuck is going on?
It's like playing with Mr. Game & Watch. By the way, Hironobu, I knew I was going to fuck it up. Hironobu fuck. I practiced this, believe it or not. Hironobu Sakaguchi, of course, the creator of the Final Fantasy series, who I can't even say his goddamn name, will be receiving the GDC Lifetime Achievement Award. GDC, of course, is the Game Developers Conference, and if you make games, that's the award you want. You don't want whatever Jeff Keighley's giving you. Not that big of a deal. But GDC, when they're like, hey, we all make games, we all know how hard it is, and we think you did the best job, that's pretty fucking cool. Of course, there's also the DICE Awards, which just recently happened, and apparently the best game of the year, according to DICE, is Dragon Age Inquisition. This, of course, is another one where it's all developers saying you made the best game. However, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor won for game direction, game design, art, animation, technical achievement, character, story, innovation, and I don't think Dragon Age Inquisition won for anything else, which is so weird. It won Game of the Year and Best Role-Playing Game, and that was it. How weird is that? Racing Game of the Year? Mario Kart 8. Fighting Game of the Year? Super Smash Bros. Simulation Game of the Year? Hearthstone. Family Game of the Year? Little Big Planet 3. Ha! I told you that game was good, everybody, and nobody listened to me.
Wait, how is Hearthstone a simulation game?
Well, it's technically strategy/simulation game.
Is it
I mean,
a
you're
card
simulating
game?
playing cards.
But then technically, wouldn't GTA be a simulation game because you're simulating murdering people?
Yeah, but there's not enough cards.
I mean, wouldn't all games be a simulation then? Because they're all simulating doing something.
It's true. Well, I will give Hearthstone credit for really simulating what it feels like to have cards. I mean, personally, I would have gone with Solitaire on Windows 95, but whatever, teach their own. And action game of the year is Destiny.
Bullshit.
No.
At least it's not Call of Duty.
Achievement in sound. Destiny.
Well, the music is probably really good for most of Destiny.
Achievement in online gaming. Destiny. Like, really? Destiny? Fuck. That's all I got. Just fuck. But that's gonna do it for the news. I don't know. Anything else straggling around we forget to mention this week?
I don't know.
That's a good segue to close out the show. Brandon, where can people reach you on the internet?
Okay. On Twitter, it is at Brandon Jonathan, BrandonJonathan. If you didn't hear it the first time, rewind because I'm not doing it again. On Steam, it is Brandon Snow, as evidenced earlier in the podcast. But if you're an asshole that fast-forwarded, tough shit, I'm not saying it again. You can fucking rewind and listen to the rest of the podcast.
Absolutely.
I think that's pretty much it. I have Nintendo Network ID, but I don't play online, and yeah, that's it.
That's a great way to wrap that up. You can reach me on Twitter at Dr. Karate Chop. That's at Dr. Karate Chop. Remember to go to youtube.com/Games Under Pressure. Yes, I'm working on changing the URL. We have to wait for 500 subscribers, though. And you can also subscribe on there. You can watch episodes of the first hour. Of course, if you're listening to this on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube, just subscribe. Write a review. Rate us. If you made it this far into the episode, I assume you had a pretty good time. Share it with the world. Tell your friends. Call us up on the pressure line. Leave text messages, voicemails, so many things. And go to Video Games Are Dumb to check out more of the updates as well as prior episodes of the Pressurecast. But that's going to do it for this episode. Brandon, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Get out there and live your lives, for you never know when you will die. But don't fear, for the Pressurecast is forever. Pressurecast, weekly video game news podcast, is solely owned and operated by Colin Tanner. Guests of the Pressurecast are not employees or freelancers of Colin Tanner, the Pressurecast, or VideoGamesAreDumb.com, and are not paid. Music featured on the Pressurecast is property of their respective owners, and no infringement is intended. For more information, email pressurecast@gmail.com.